Are you ready to step into a brand new timeline? This week's solar eclipse and new moon in Virgo is the doorway that we've been waiting for. Hello, everyone, and welcome in. I'm the Awakened Jenn, a multidimensional channeler and the voice for the Council of the Awakened Flame. What I do here isn't just prediction, it's activation. Every message from the Council is designed to help you rise into your highest path, embody your sovereignty, and remember who you really are. If you've been searching for clarity and guidance, this isn't just a reading, it's a frequency. And if you're hearing my voice, it means that this transmission is meant for you. Okay. So we are moving into some of the most powerful energy of the year. Today's solar eclipse and new moon in Virgo happens at 29 degrees, which is the last degree of the sign. It's the anuretic degree, a karmic completion energy that closes out an entire chapter before opening up the next door. Over the past week, the Council has been showing us that Archangel Metatron has been turning on the lights in the new timeline. We were told that this eclipse corridor has been like a sterilization process, clearing the way from what does not belong, cleansing out the old so that we can step into this doorway clean and we won't be carrying muddy feet into what's coming next. The angel numbers 122 and 707 are confirming this shift. 122 is talking about aligned action, saying yes to the path that is being illuminated, and trusting the doors that are opening. 707 is the sign of the seeker, the traveler between worlds, reminding us that what you've walked through was preparation, spiritual coursework that now positions you for your next level. And the overall energy of the week was commitment. And so there's just this energy of like this mountaintop victory, and we're at the peak of it now. So Spirit is showing us your commitment, your willingness to keep climbing through challenge after challenge and shadow after shadow is exactly what brought you to this summit. The clock even gave us 333 as confirmation. The ascended masters standing behind you, affirming that yes, this is a mastery moment for you. This is a cycle of completion, a 10 energy, and an initiation all at once. You've reached the apex, and now with this eclipse, the mountaintop opens into a whole new horizon. I mean, this is literally leveling up, and it's all because of the work that you've done. All right, so before we get into the reading, I want us to go ahead and do the invocation to call in the spirit team. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths to ground us into this space, and then do the invocation to call them out. So if you'll close your eyes and breathe in. That's 1. Breathe in. That's 2. Breathe in. That's 3. I now call in the council of the awakened flame, a collective of angels, archangels, ascended masters, our higher selves, and galactic family to please enter this present space and time. I call upon Archangel Michael to place a bubble of protection around us. Only beings of the highest vibration of pure love and light may enter in. I open myself now as a clear, surrendered channel. Only messages for the highest good of healing, alignment, ascension, and love. So be it. All right. So we are going to be doing this with in 3 sections. We've got my deck, the Oracle of the Council of the Awakened Flame, which is a prototype still, but you can learn more about that down in the description box. You can sign up to join the wait list so you can be one of the first to know when it's available. And then we're also going to be using the Biblical Tarot to pull from. And then I will do just some direct channeling as well. So we're going to start with the Oracle of the Council of the Awakened Flame. And we're just going to pull some messages through first. So the heart of the week, what is the core vibration that the council wants the collective to hold this week? What is the core vibration the council wants the collective to hold this week? Okay. We have resurrection. The phoenix rises again. Angel number 717, solar plexus, fire orange, the path of transmutation. This is our moment. This is our moment. We've been through the fire. I mean, that's what all of this has been about, to get us to this place where, but this is the thing, we've got to get ourselves out. And so we've got to take the opportunity. We've got to have the strength. But this is our phoenix moment. This is our rebirth moment. And that's the energy that you are meant to embody right now. It's just to know that, like, everything that you have been through, like, it wasn't meant to take you out. It was meant to, like, bring you up to this highest level. It was meant to show you really who you are. It was clearing out just anything that was still blocking your path from being fully who you were meant to be. And so this is our phoenix moment right now. And it's just like that mountaintop is just, it's feeling that energy again. It's just like there is a level of victory here, and it's yours because you did so much work. You pulled yourself out of, I mean, the fire, the flame, the you have let yourself literally get burned down to the core. Anything that did not, like, this is like removing the shaft kind of thing. It's just, this is spiritual cleansing through fire. But yet this is your moment of rising through it because you survived it. But if you stay in the fire, if you don't actually do the rising, it will burn you alive. So this is the moment you've got to do something. There's action that's needed, but it is because of all of the work that you've been through. Okay. The root or unseen influence. What hidden root or unseen force has been steering this eclipse process? We have soul truth. What you know is enough. Angel number 111, crown chakra, royal purple, embodied light. Soul truth. And with the 111, there's new beginning energy with that. But the soul truth is like you are the one who determines the truth. This is the thing. It's like you've been given opportunity to, because I feel like a lot of the trial was probably a lot of distortions that you were working through, gaslighting, manipulations, all of that, that forced you to have to learn what is true and what is not. And so it's like you had to learn the resonance of what truth is. And so this is something that I talk about a lot. And so um, when you're even watching readings, when you have a reading from someone, even if it's a personal reading, or if you're watching these readings, um, I mean, just anything, any type of information that you are taking into yourself, it's supposed to pass through this filter of resonance that goes through what is your core soul truth. So whenever something is coming to you, you are supposed to be like, filtering it through, and you are the one that's determining what is true. You're not letting anything outside of you tell you what's the truth. You know what the truth is because you know what truth feels like in your body. That's the only way that you're going to know what truth is. And so, like, again, with the readings, it's like when you're watching any reading and they say this is what's coming for you, you're going to feel that first, whether it has resonance for you. And resonance is this true for me? You're going to let yourself feel, how does this feel in my body? And because you know what the energy of truth feels like. And so as long as you can hold to that truth, and like I said, you've been given a lot of opportunity through these challenges that you've gotten yourself out of, where you had people who were distorting the truth, where you had people who were manipulating you and gaslighting you and just trying to, just control you through, these psychological, ways of, like, denying your soul truth, denying your core truth. And so this is a moment where you have to hold your truth tightly and you do not let it go. You know what's true because you feel it in your soul. And so hold it. And that's what you're like, everything that you're moving, you're holding onto this truth. You're not going to let your truth go because you know what the truth is. You're not given the truth from anyone else. Like, you use anything outside of you as tools to help you understand and find the truth, but you are the truth detector yourself, and you do have that. But we a lot of times will abdicate that out to other things or other people. Those, again, they're just tools. Anything that you use, if you use, even like courses and textbooks, just because somebody sounds like they know what they're talking about doesn't mean that they're telling truth. And so that's why it's so important that you connect to yourself. Everything has to go through this filter of truth before you allow it to be true for you. You are the one who determines the truth, not anything outside of yourself. Okay. The next message is, so what is the higher light and guidance? So what is the highest next step that Spirit is asking us to take as we step into this new timeline? We have Mother Mary, gentle strength, fierce grace, angel number 777, throat chakra, sky blue, the council speaks. And so this is a sacred mission that you've been on and that you have been asked personally to do. And so just connecting back, to when Mother Mary, when Gabriel came to Mary and declared this mission, she had a choice about what she was going to do with it. But once she made the decision, it was hers to own and protect. And so you are being asked to step into your soul mission. You're being given the opportunity for your soul mission, but you're being asked, are you going to do it? And if you do it, are you going to do what it takes to really protect it and own it as though it really is yours? Because this is not meant to be abdicated out. Again, we're kind of coming back to that soul truth of like, we're not relying on other people. This is your mission. And so it's not something anyone else can do. It's you choose to do it or you don't choose to do it. But this is yours to hold. And if you choose to do it, then you need to protect it. You need to guard it. You need to make sure that, and it's with gentle strength and fierce grace. It's not about it's not aggression. It's not having to really fight. It's just holding your knowing and not letting it go. It's just a protective energy. It's a divine protective energy. You understand the value of what you're being given and what you were asked to do. And you know that you have to hold that with a certain level of reverence. And you don't just let, just anybody even touch it. You don't let anybody just have anything, to say about it or, to you own this because you know that it was your sacred mission, that was given to you. All right. So the next messages are going to come from the biblical tarot. And this is the cross. So what is the central test or turning point that we must face at this doorway? What is the central test or turning point that we must face at this doorway? Okay. Okay. We have the Eight of Reigns, the Craftsman. So it's about the work that you put in. And you've already been doing the work, but it's like you've got to continue to be that level committed to continuing to do the work and continuing to stay on the path, because that work is what's gotten you to here, but it's like you're not finished with the work. You've really just only gotten prepared for the work. This is the work. And so, this is where you're being asked to, really, are you ready to fully step into your mission? It's not going to be easy. It's going to take effort. And while it is your highest path, and while it is that reward, that phoenix, it's your rebirth, there's still, it's still not going to be easy. It still takes, you showing up every single day and being willing to put in the effort that's needed to sustain this. It's about sustaining this. Okay. The path ahead, if we say yes to this new timeline, what is the immediate next terrain to walk? We have the Chariot, Pharaoh's pursuit. And so the Chariot is very fast moving energy, and it's This is you taking back the reins of your own life. This is you taking control of your life again. And while everything may be shifting very quickly, you have the ability to take things and bring them into the direction that you want them to go. Now, this card has Pharaoh's pursuit. So you may be having people following behind you. If you think about the story of the Bible that this is connecting to. So Moses was asked to pull God's people out of Egypt and take them into the promised land. You are being asked to do the same. Okay. You may have some resistance coming against you, rushing after you, but look at the divine protection. As long as you are walking in your mission and you are following every single lead that you are being given, you are going to be protected. And so whatever's chasing you doesn't get to come with you. That door has already closed. So it's like, the walls have opened to get you and the people through into that new timeline. But now then, like where they're anybody that's still coming up behind you, they're about to have the waves brought down on them again. So it's like the water's coming back down again. So you don't have to worry that anything from the past is going to catch up with you. They cannot catch up with you because you've been protected through this because of your alignment and the work that you've been doing. You have the power. You are in the reins and you are following the lead of just your mission, your directive, and your soul truth. And so you're protected, even if it feels dramatic, because that story was absolutely a dramatic story. There was fear. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine like those people walking through these walls of water beside them and not having a clue how that was happening or when it was going to fall in? I mean, can you imagine just the fear of like, can I take these steps? So just understand, you might walk through this with fear, but just look at the miracle that's happening around you as you are taking that step. Like if that's not proof of your divine protection, those walls of water that allowed you the space to even walk through, that's your divine protection. And so you don't have to worry about the things catching up with you. Once you get through, once you cross over into this new timeline, that door closes, the waters come back down, and nothing from the old gets to come in. So, I mean, like, this is a moment of just like, you've been taken out of your slavery. You've been taken out of, the oppression. You've been taken out of just like that lower shadow energy, and you're being put into your place of the promised land. Now, we do want to, because we're connecting with uh that story, it may take like you're on the path, you've gotten out of the old and you've chosen to step into your mission. And I think that's kind of coming back to this card right here is, don't think it's going to be easy. This is where you've got to step up and show up and do the work. So you've still got to go and you've got to follow the guidance, or you're going to walk around in circles for 40 years. But like if you follow the guidance and really stay true to what is the truth that in your soul about this path and your mission forward, then it won't take you the 40 years. The only reason why it took them the 40 years is because they weren't trusting themselves. They were bickering among themselves. And they weren't just continuing to do the work. They were complaining of how much work it was taking. And, if some of them even said, can we go back to Egypt? That's how bad it was, and it's like, you've got to keep your commitment, even once that door to the new timeline, like once you get in and that door closes behind you, you've got to keep your commitment so that you can experience it in the highest vibrational version of it. Okay. So to close it out, I want to do some direct channeling for the integration. So what direct practical message does Spirit want us to hear and begin doing today as we move into this eclipse energy and this new timeline opening up? How can we integrate this lesson? And one of the things that I was getting is like this 8 energy of the infinity symbol. And the connection to that is it's the rebalancing. So what you put in is what you're going to get out. So the effort that you put in, the attitude that you put in, just the way that you do this. And this is a message that I've been getting a lot, is like this next period, and I'm feeling this, is it's from this point right here up until February of 2026, because Saturn is in its final degrees here of Pisces. And it's like this lesson, this ancestral karmic lesson, all of that, your beliefs, your connection to spirit, all of those lessons that you've been working through with this Saturn transit, it's in the final stage here. And so the way that you go through this final stage lesson, this I don't want to call this like a final exam, because it's we've already passed over, but it's like it's just this last little bit that's still clearing out. How you go through this really does determine the quality of that new timeline. So we are being allowed to step into the new timeline, but the quality of it is not going to be determined until we show that we learned the lesson. So this is the integration. Okay. So we went through all of those lessons. We made it out. We're the phoenix. We've risen above. And now then we're into whole new territory that we've never been before. And so this is the chance to show how much healing you've actually done, how much in alignment you actually are, because that's going to determine the quality from that point forward. So how do you hold this energy as you're walking through just completely unfamiliar terrain? And, it feels like, maybe there's still challenges and trials that you weren't expecting to experience. What is your vibration? How are you experiencing that? Are you able to hold that higher level energy that is required to sustain this new timeline? Or are you going to fall back into your old patterns and muddy this timeline too? So like we've worked really hard to cleanse ourselves, but there could still be these old thought patterns that come through when, the lesson returns, or when obstacles come up, or when we get, squeezed and pressured, in this new space, where just because we don't know. Are you going to start telling the old stories? Is it going to be the old stories that you replay in your head about this is what's happening and this is why it's happening, because it's what is always happens in this case? Or are you going to see it from the higher perspective? Are you going to allow yourself to experience something completely new so that you can start writing new stories? So it's not about the old stories anymore. You're not supposed to even, like, yes, those taught you something, but now you're in embodiment. Now you're in sovereignty. So what do you do? How do you act differently? How do you hold your space and your frame differently when you're in that space? That's what these last, months here, from here until February, that's what this is doing. Is, can you hold the energy? Have you integrated the lessons enough that you can hold and embody that frequency that is needed to sustain this new timeline? Or are we going to fall back into the old trauma patterns and just put those old stories back into place and then just muddy this one up too? So that's what we're being asked. That's how we're being asked to look at this. Is just remembering the way that we approach this, what we put into this is what we're going to get out of this. Okay. So, that was just a lot of energy that came through. And I mean, I think it's realistic energy. And I think I love that the council talks to us in realistic terms. It's like, yes, we're bringing you up. Yes, we're giving you these blessings, but be realistic. It's not going to be easy. It still takes work because even in your highest timeline, there's still problems that you're going to deal with. That's what it means to be on this planet. That's what it means to be incarnate. That's just part of the human experience. So it's not removing the human experience from you. You haven't transcended the human experience until you're out of this body. So you're still got to be experiencing those things. But the difference now is, how do you hold that energy? How do you handle when you get triggered? What do you do with that? Because you're not going to remove the triggers. The triggers are going to still be there. So how do you respond to the triggers when they're showing up? So a closing affirmation for us is, I trust the path that is building beneath my feet. The old door is closed and the new one is opening. And I know that I am safe to step fully into my highest timeline. And so this eclipse is opening up the door to this timeline. You're being asked and given a sacred mission to step into it. What are you going to do with it? All right. Make sure that if this has resonated with you, that you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any future transmissions, and check the links below for upcoming lives, special portal events, or any other way to walk this journey with me. I do offer private sessions, and you can find information about that in the description box below. And until next time, remember that you are not walking this path alone. The council walks with you. All right. Bye.